Hello,
Hello.
everybody. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. My name is Leigh Bella Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Leigh, and behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, would like to welcome everybody a beautiful afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. And we are going to be doing some brush lettering today. One of my favorite things, creative, crafty things to do. And I was just practicing before we started this class. So I hope that you're all excited. Let me pull out the chat. Happy November, everybody. It's our second week already. I feel like I'm such an old person because it is all I talk about. Coming in from a much cooler Texas. So hello everyone. We have some good friends from Nevada. We have friends from Florida, Michigan. Hi Tina, neighbor. Hello. We have a good friend from Panama. Hello. Greetings. Hello. All right. So thank you everybody for being here, for joining us this afternoon. It's always fun when you're here because, we get to have a little bit of engagement, ask questions. And I think it's really important to spend some time with like-minded people, some creative people like you. It's always much better to do this class with you guys here. But of course, this class is being recorded and will be available and uploaded on Michael's YouTube channel. All right, in front of me is the Goldfaber Aqua dual marker. So it's a little bit of mouthful, but what it is are water-based dye inks, okay, from Faber-Castell. Now, these are brand new. It just released, I think, early last year. Um, it is now available on Michael's website. So please do check it out. I have here in front of me is a portrait set of 6 markers. I thought it was so perfect to create like a beautiful fall lettering. Now, if you don't have these materials that I'm using today, it's okay if you have a watercolor. I think it will work the same just because we'll be working and blending with some water. And this set comes with 6, like what I said. The colors are 281. Let's see if I can find all of them. So 281 would be sand. And then we have 116 is apricot color. And then we have 114, we have pale pink. And then we have 195, this beautiful vintage pink color. And then we have 283, burnt sienna. And then 186, the terracotta. It is so beautiful. It's like a perfect fall. Look at this. Look at that palette. Gorgeous, right? Okay, now when we do brush lettering, it is my favorite class to do, but sometimes it's also one of the most difficult just because sometimes not everyone will get brush lettering right away. It is something that I think with practice, really, you'll get much better. So sometimes when you do a class like this and you don't trace it, you start from the very beginning, it's just slightly frustrating because I'm only saying this because I was there too. I was in that same position and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to buy any more new pens. I buy new pens. I don't want to practice anymore just because it's really hard. But with enough practice, I think there's really nothing that you can't do. So brush lettering is one of that. Okay. And so if you need some help with brush lettering, Faber-Castell do have a bounce lettering kit that was designed by yours truly. In this kit, it has a lot of samples of the basic strokes that you really need to practice when it comes to brush lettering. If you are like myself, I get really impatient and I don't really want to do the basic strokes, but I'm here to say, please don't skip it. Even just for like 1 page a day, try to do the basic strokes because these basic strokes are the ones that you really need to build a muscle memory. And that's what really going to help you with that thin and thick and, light and heavy pressure. It's so important. So as you can see, this will teach you how to hold your pen, the basic position. And then it also comes with a tracing paper. So you don't have to go practice with using the worksheet itself, but of course you can if you'd like, but you can always just buy another tracing paper and then put it on top of that so you can keep practicing. So it has the basic strokes and some basic letters to practice for brush lettering. All right, so but today we're going to do a fall lettering using the Goldfaber Aqua. Um, it was so funny because I have two different brushes here, water brush from Faber-Castell, and Carrie was like, how do you use this water brush? And so I figured maybe you guys are wondering as well. I'm going to show you. So let's look at the brush itself. I really love this water brush. There's a lot of water brush available in the market. I mean, a lot. But this one is, I really, really love this one from Faber-Castell because this has a much better control when it comes to the water coming out. Now, some of the water brush that I've tried, sometimes you have this big flush of water that would come out from the brush and you'll end up with a puddle in your work. And that's just, it's no fun. And so I'm going to open it, this one, and you're going to notice, how am I going to fill it with water? Because there's like a little tiny hole in there. I can't use that. Well, what happens, this is a pistol system. So you can pull the back of this water brush like this, right? So you can extend it. But what it is, it's kind of like a straw. So you're going to pull out water. So this one, clean bowl of water. I'm going to make sure that this part where the little tiny hole is dipped under just enough for me to pull out some water. And so I'm going to pull this, and then it's going to fill my brush with water. There we go. Now it's ready to be used. The other one, I remember when we did like a previous class, and I was having so much trouble opening this one up because guess what? I'm a little dummy dum dum. I was trying to open it this way. So I'm like, it's so tight. I just can't open. Well, what happens is that you open it this way, like this one, then this one has a much bigger hole, right? So what I always do, you can just do it in the sink and then just fill it up with some water. But for example purposes, I'm going to use this to fill it out, fill it up with some water. There we go. I think this one is really perfect for travel because look how tiny this is. So if you have a small desk like me, I'm doing it the other way again. Do it the opposite way. When you have a hard time opening, do the opposite, and it's going to open up. Oops, I ruined my paper. All right. I think so. Is it best to remove the water from the brush if we are not using it right away? I think it is, but I never had any problem with spilling. But I think just in case to avoid any accident, it's just a little water. It's not really gonna flood your um bags or your pouches. But yes, you can. So you just open it up back again and then just kind of like push this. So we extended it. Now this time we're going to push the water out. So there we go. Oops. So now I don't have any more water. And so you can also have a much smaller brush, right? So this one will make it longer, which I really like because it rests over here. I call it like the little cave from between my pointer and my thumb, like that. So I'm going to go pick up some water again because I'm going to need it. All right, and then we're good. I'm going to have like a lot of water in here. Here we go. So I'm going to calm myself down a little bit and see if I have missed any question in here. Oh, someone is asking for the practice kit. I'm not sure that it's available at Michael's yet. So I'm not sure if Carrie can help us look for the bounce lettering kit directly from Faber-Castell's website, but she can help us out with that one maybe later. All right, okay, here we go. So when it comes to brush lettering, like what I've mentioned, there are some basic strokes to practice. The thing that I think is very important to remember are two first. Everything is all about the pressure. Okay. So we have light pressure. And this is, you do something with art, not just for lettering. You do this when you're coloring, you do this when you're drawing, when you're painting, you know, how you use your brush. So it's the same way with lettering. Two, light pressure and heavy pressure. So the question is, when do you use a light pressure? You use a light pressure when you're going up, or this is called the upstroke. This is also when you're going to use the tip of the brush pen. Let's see if I can zoom it in like this one. So upstroke is every time you would write away from your body. So every time you would write away from you, this is your light pressure, and this is called the upstroke. And again, this is when you're going to use the tip of your brush. Like this. Away from you, think light, like this. All right, so when do you apply heavy pressure? Of course, the opposite, right? So now when you're doing your downstroke or when you're writing towards your body, this is called your downstroke. And this is when you're going to use the tip and also the body of your brush. Notice how I'm also holding, notice here how I'm holding my pen when I'm doing my upstroke. It's almost straight up vertical. Not really, not entirely, but still my wrist is well rested on the table like this. I think it's very important to understand. Now, we all write differently. I think the most important thing is that your wrist is comfortable. Now, notice how my whole hand is not going to move when I'm writing. It's only this three because this is the main three fingers that I use when I'm writing. So this is almost like my anchor. This part of my hand is my anchor to make sure that I have very stable and I can move this finger right here when I am writing. All right, so let's go back to the heavy and down stroke. So again, the reason why I said notice how I'm holding my pen when I'm doing my upstroke like this is because I'm using the tip. But when we do our downstroke, this is when we're going to use the tip and the body of the brush. So my hands are now almost 45-degree angled, like from the paper, like this. So I'll be able to use the tip and the body. And this is when, again, this is when I'm going to apply some pressure to create a thicker stroke, like that. And the reason why I said to practice your basic stroke is because the reason why it's super important because we're going to do, let's see, let's pick up two basic strokes in here that I think will really help you when it comes to your practice. Let's try the overturn, right? So overturn is going to be from light. So you're going to do an upstroke first, and then you switch to create a heavier stroke. So it's almost like a frown, right? So it's an upside down U. So I'm going to use the tip of my brush up and then apply some pressure, go down like that. So again, upstroke and then heavy, light and then heavy. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. The second basic stroke is where I have so much issues. It is because I have a heavy hand pressure. So the switching from the light to heavy seems natural to me. But when I do the underturn, which is like a letter U, this is when I have some issues because from doing heavy, it's a little bit of a struggle to go light. And I'm going to show that to you. So even if I'm doing this for a very long time now, the switch from the heavy to light is still something that I struggle with. And that is why I think it's really important to kind of have do simple drills like this or just write your name over and over until you get that switch. Maybe maybe you write lighter. And so maybe the switching from the heavy to light will be natural to you. You know, it'll be the opposite. So let's try the underturn because this is really a good practice for today. So as you can see, there's a slight gap because I'm really struggling. I'm trying hard to go from heavy to use the tip and to go light. Again, it's a struggle. So sometimes I've noticed also that the more go really slow, I feel like, I don't know if it's just me. Please do let me know in the chat if you're experiencing the same thing. I feel like when I'm practicing something in slow motion, I feel like I mess it up more than when I try to just do it naturally how I would normally would do it, that I feel like I can do it much better. But then I can always maybe prove myself wrong. So I'm going to try to do it in a more normal time. Nope, I didn't. Look at that. There's still a very big gap. But I feel like when I'm doing like straight lines, if I go really slow, I feel like it's more jaggedy, right? So maybe try to kind of just practice a little bit of speed because this one is so much better. Look at this, like that, like that. Much better already. All right, another good stroke to practice is called the compound curve. Now, it's kind of like mixing the overturn. You start with the underturn to go overturn and then underturn again. So I'll show you what it looks like. So you start from heavy to go light to heavy again to go light again. So that's a really good practice stroke. And another one is oval or a letter O. So you go heavy because you're going down, and then you switch and you go light and use the tip of the brush. Right, let's do that again. This is our drill or a practice for today before we get started with our main project. This, like that. All right. Any questions about our basic strokes? So again, important to remember when you write your upstroke or you're writing away from yourself, this is where you're going to apply light pressure. And when you're writing your downstroke or when you're writing towards yourself, your body, then this is when you're going to apply slightly heavier pressure and use the body of the brush as well. And make sure that it's slanted. Your hand is slanted like this and not upside down, like when you're doing your upstroke. Okay. Because I will show you an example when you're not doing the correct hand um, placement. So I'm going to try to do a downstroke without switching my hands like this, without making sure that it's slanted 45-degree. Okay, so like what I said, upstroke, almost straight up, almost like when you're writing, right? Because you want to do your upstroke. And that's okay when you're doing a line. But when you're doing basic strokes like this, or even letters, it's almost impossible to go upside down like this. So I'm going to try to do a downstroke, holding my pen like this. And I'm going to apply pressure because it's downstroke. I'm going to write towards me. Notice that. And then notice I'm going to switch my hand. Notice the difference of that stroke. This is also applying pressure, but holding my pen upside down like this. This is applying pressure, but switching and making sure that my hands are slanted or almost the pen is 45-degree angle and like that. So you get totally, even when I'm doing like this, let's say, that's what you're going to get. So when I'm going to try and write like this, that's the result. And also another thing that you're doing here is you're going to hurt the tip of your brush pen. So you're going to ruin it very, very fast when you don't hold your pen properly. Again, I'm going to do that. Apply pressure. I'm going to do the correct hand placement and then apply pressure. You get two different things. All right. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Hey, fall. Now, with the Goldfaber Aqua markers, like what I said, these are water-based dye inks. So you can use them kind of like a watercolor if you have an extra artist palette like this. This is very inexpensive from Michael's. I got that one. You can blend them together without using a water brush. It's so easy. But the only thing that I think it's important to let you know is that not all papers are created equal. Some papers would absorb the ink so fast that it's going to leave a stain and that you cannot blend the pens well. It's going to leave that stain and you're going to be left with unwanted strokes, or it just doesn't look right. It's not blending correctly. It doesn't matter the amount of time. Even if you work slightly faster than usual, it's still going to leave you some marks in there and it just does not look good. And I'm going to show you an example because I think it's so important, because these are the things that I think people don't talk a lot about. Um, and so when you experience it at home, you feel like you're not doing a great job, but people just didn't explain it to you that not all paper are created the same. So some papers will just let you blend the color so seamlessly, even if you are working slow. Like that. I'm going to go practice over here. Just do this. Like that. So as you can see, when you're working with colors that are so similar to each other, they're going to be much, much easier to blend, of course, right? So I'm going to work on this one. Let's see, where's my water brush? Like a water brush. And I'm going to try to just blend. All right. And I want to go pull it up like this, just so we can see. Notice how we have this really strong staining of the brown, and on the left it's a different paper. This is a Canson. This one is from Michael's, their artist loft. Both are great, but sometimes, like what I said, when you're using different papers, you're just struggling. It will struggle a little bit. And I think it's important to understand that it's not you. Sometimes it is the papers that you're working with. So I just want you to know that, just in case that you're experiencing that and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm doing what she's doing, but I am just not blending the way it should blend. Well, it's not always you. So, all right, let's do Hey Fall. I picked a very simple word because, like what I said, when it comes to lettering, sometimes it's rather frustrating. Now, another tip that I'd like to share is always start with a pencil, because pencil is your best friend. It is my best friend. I make lots of mistakes and I go over and over. I change one stroke. Oh, I don't like that. Maybe it's the placement, or maybe it's, pencil. Sketch your idea. And then another tip is don't get married to your idea, because sometimes when you feel like, okay, I did that, I'm good. No, try to tinker with it, play around with it. Maybe that stroke, I want to make it longer, or maybe I want to scoop it a little bit more. Maybe I want to add something here. So just keep playing, keep exploring, but also know us artists have this issue, is that the time to stop, knowing when the time to stop. So just Make sure you play around. Don't be married to an idea, but also know when this is it, right? So it's always a struggle. All right. So hay fall, we have two words, very simple. Now you have the option to play around with this word. You can say, I'm going to go on the back. We have the words hay, fall. So this is what I always do. I always start with just writing the two words. Now, how can I make this more creative? Maybe I can make the word hay script and make the word fall print. Let's try that. You know, pencil is also a really good tool to practice your brush lettering. Not a lot of people know this, but you can actually play around with the pressure that you're using when using your pencil. So this is a great tool to kind of just practice your light and heavy pressure, as long as you're following the correct way, which is light or your upstroke, light, and then heavy when you're doing the downstroke. So do the same thing. It's almost like you're using a brush pen, but you're just using a pencil. But this is how you're going to build a muscle memory, is that I'm going light when I'm going up, I'm going heavy when I'm going down. Just keep doing this. So I kind of like that hay fall, but I feel like with this one, how can I make this better? I feel like I can make the hay just slightly smaller and make the fall much bigger, right? So I can practice with that. Let's say hay like that. Make the fall. Maybe also extend the letters, widen the letters like this, like that. See how we can have already three ideas in here? Um, Rebecca's asking, it's a good question. How do you make sure your letters are proportional or the same size? I have a hard time with this. In all honesty, if I want to be really completely honest with you, Rebecca, I have the same issue. And that is why after practicing for so long, I still struggle with it. And that is why I have developed that bounce lettering is my style of brush lettering, because I cannot do the traditional calligraphy, that perfect, pristine look where every letter has the same length and width and all that. And that is why I love bounds, because look at the traditional. You want to make sure that all your letters are exactly the same, right? But with bounce lettering, this is when you're actually encouraged to get creative with the height and the width of your letters. And that is why, look at this, even with my hay fall here. Notice how the E is much smaller than everything else. So, I mean, I think the only solution we have is consistency. I can't even say the word consistency. Um, just practice, really, really practice. And also I don't use ruler at all. I'm a Libra, so I don't like rules. I don't like being constricted, being put in a small box. You know, I like to just kind of do my own way all the time. So I think that's why I fell in love with the bounce lettering styles, because it's kind of like I like the rebel way. I'm not gonna do it same letter. So but Rebecca, to answer that, I think practice. How can I make sure? I can't. I really can't. I think what's going to help you is using a worksheet that has a line. I think that's what's really going to help, is that if you use the worksheets that has line like this, then this is a great practice, because you're going to make sure that you're inside the boxes, right? Then this is where consistency will happen. Then you can make sure that you have the same height all the time, right? So, hey, size, let's say size. So there are some practice worksheets that has lines like this. And then just like what I did, I mean, if you're using a pencil, just write 3 lines in there and then put one in the middle. And so you can make sure that your It will help you to be more consistent with the height of your letters, just like that. So try to do your 3 lines. I mean, that's one practice to do. Okay, so hey fall, I think I really like this one, but I think I want to stick with just all script. So we're going to do the hey. Notice how my letters have thinner and darker areas. So you're going to see that the thin and the light area is my upstroke, and the darker and the heavier is my downstroke. So, like what I said, you can use your pencil to practice. I'm going to start hey, and I think I'm going to make the fall much bigger, but I want it to be all script. And this is where I'm going to face some issues because notice how our letter Y is going to touch where the letter L, right, is. So it's like, how can we fix this? And this is where it's really important to have a pencil. So I'm going to try and write it down again, much smaller, so I'm not taking up so much space. And this is where bounce lettering comes in, because then you can position your letters wherever you want. So I adjusted it slightly higher. I don't know if we can see it. So we just adjusted it just slightly higher, the letter Y. And then we're going to do fall. So we're just practicing. I want you to do the same exercise as I'm doing right now so we can practice as well. Like this. I feel like I like that. So knowing this, I can see it now. Okay, maybe I just have to adjust everything just slightly more down. And I think we're good. That's what I like. And then we can add just fall leaves around it. All right, this is the moment of truth. I'm going to use this clean side of paper. Boo-ba-joo-ba-joo. And then I'm going to have to write it much bigger because this is a bigger space. And then I'm using a pencil that is 2B. I usually use an HB because it's much lighter and easier to erase, but it's much harder to get seen using the camera. So I'm going to switch to my HB now, just so it will be easier to erase it. So, all right, let's see. It's much harder. All right, to make it high. I don't like it at all. So I'm going to erase it. So when you're trying to sketch for your final project, make sure to sketch really light. Don't be like me, okay? Because it's going to be hard to erase. Maybe I'll make my letter F bigger. Show me on the screen what you guys have. I'd like to know how you made your hateful. Did you make it script? Did you make it print? Hayfall, Heyfall. All right, I think I'm good. This is good. All right. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, so we're good. Okay. So here we go. Now this time, I think I have some friends asking me on Instagram, "Hey, Lay, what's your secret to a pretty blending?" Again, papers. I have went through different types of papers. Um, and it's they're not inexpensive. So especially watercolor. And I think the more inexpensive the watercolor paper is, the not so good quality is what's happening. So then you get more frustrated because they're not getting the results that you want. But for practice, I don't mind using inexpensive just because if I'm just practicing, but then it's really hard to get the blending. But understanding that you're going to have to work a little more when you're using an inexpensive paper when blending. But to me, when it comes to blending, I love using almost like a monochromatic look. So very close in color. So all these color in this set really is going to be very easy to blend. And it's like a perfect fall color too. So I'm going to start with the sand color, which is a very, very light um, brown tone. So this one, and then we're going to use the vintage pink. So I have a light, a medium, and the darkest. And this is how I just like to blend, no matter what, if it's watercolor, if it's alcohol markers, if it's acrylic markers. I just love using three colors. I have a lightest, I have a medium, and then I have a dark. So this is how I'm going to color it. I'm going to divide the six into two groups. So I have the sand, the pale pink, and the vintage pink for the word hey. And then I will use the apricot color, the terracotta, and the burnt sienna for the word fall. Okay. And yes, you've guessed right. We're going to start with the lightest color. And this is our base color. So now that you have your sketch in here, and I have a little bit, maybe you can see it. I didn't erase it completely. You can now take your time. So you don't have to, do the thin and thick, because you can always come back and make sure to maybe thicken some areas, add some extra width to some areas that you feel like, oh, it's not thick enough. But just be careful with the thin, because with the thin, it's going to be hard to take out some extra width in there. What you're going to do is you're going to adjust your downstroke. You keep adding some extra width, and then it's just not going to look good. So it's not going to look natural. But know that you can do that as well. So just be mindful, knowing that, okay, I'm doing my upstrokes, I'm going to go light. And then when you're doing your downstroke, add a little bit of pressure, but just be mindful and just slow down and just take it one stroke at a time. Okay. So I'm going to follow my advice and do the same thing. Here we go. So upstroke, light, and use the tip of our brush, right? So I'm going to zoom that out just a little bit so we can see. Here we go. Light. And notice how I'm just taking my time. I can just lift the pen also. And this, I'm going to apply a bit of pressure, just like that. You can't see. That's what's happening. It's too bright. I don't know. Let's just switch to overhead. This is what we have. And then I go light, upstroke, and then heavier for the downstroke. And I can already tell here that I don't have enough width for this letter H. So we're going to come back in there later and fix that and add some extra width to it. Because notice the width of my E here and that, definitely not balanced, right? We can adjust that later. It's okay. Like here, up, down, go like that. So I'm going to come back in and just add some extra width to some areas where I feel like it needs it. And just be careful, because look at this. I already noticed that, okay, Lay, that's a little too thick. So now I can't do anything about it. Just be careful. All right, then I'm going to do my word fall. I'm going to switch colors though. So don't forget to switch colors. I do that. So we're going to use the 116, the apricot color. They're going to be very similar in color. I feel like this one has a little bit of warmth to it. Okay, definitely. So pretty. Heavier, light. So in the beginning, you might have to just keep repeating that to yourself over and over, because I did. Upstroke, light, downstroke, heavy, upstroke, light, downstroke, heavy. And there. So pretty already. You don't have to blend all the time, but it's going to be taking it to the extra. Um, it's going to make it a bit more extra. All right, so we're going to start with our hay first, and we're going to do our pale pink and that vintage pink on top of each other. So I want to start with the pale pink, and then I want our blending to go from the top. So almost like half and half. So we don't want to cover the whole thing. So just follow me here. We're just going to add some pale pink right here, and I'll stop there because we're going to blend it. We're going to blend all those down so we can have a seamless blend. So you can bring it down just a little bit. And then we're going to add the vintage pink or a darker shade than that. So if you don't have the same colors, then just get a light, medium, and dark. They're very similar in shade. This one, I'm going to stop right there. So notice that, right? So you have the whole light color, you have half of the medium, and then you have a quarter on top right there of the darkest. Okay, so I'll do the same thing with this part right here of the H. Oop. Oh, no, 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 no. I went with the darkest. It's okay. Oop, I'm going to do it again. So I'll go with the medium first. Just like that. And then we'll just add a little bit of dark on top. So I'm going to work just slight faster just because we always run out of time. I wish I can spend more time with you guys, but our time is almost always so short. But I really want to finish this with you guys. Right? And then we add the darkest. Now this is where having an artist palette, an extra palette would be helpful, because remember when I was talking about not all papers are created equal? When you get that extra stain in your page and you feel like, I don't like it, I want to have a much more seamless blending, you know what's going to help? What's going to help is having an extra palette like this. And then we're going to just add our colors in here. And we're going to add as needed. All right. So I'm going to try and blend it without other colors, but just all the colors in here. Okay. So we're going to try and go here from the top. Okay. So from the darkest, be mindful of the amount of water in your brush because it's going to be very delicate. You have like a very thin stroke in here. Also depends on how thin or how small your letterings are. Mine, I made it fairly big because I know it's much easier for you guys to see. So I'm just blending everything down up to here. And then this area right here, just be careful. You can thicken it up just a little bit. It's going to be okay. Right. Here, I know I don't have any more of those colors, so I'm going to pick up some colors from here, from the palette. Just mixing the medium and the dark. I want to bring this down just a little bit. When it comes to blending with, in brush lettering, I feel like social media does not help at all because everything is sped up. So even on my channel, you're going to see, sped up projects. And so you think, oh, it's so fun to blend. Maybe it's that easy. No, actually, it's not. It is easy, but it does take time. It takes patience. So see, I did grab a little bit of the dark and then adding here. So I'm just adding some dark of that. All right, I'm going to leave that until it dries. And then we can add a little bit more if we want to later. Let's just bring this up. I'm just focusing on the tip of the brush when I'm blending, and I'm using very light pressure also. So just think light, even when you're going down. This time you just think light, because what we're doing is we're being very careful, just following all the strokes that we've created earlier already. So this one, as you can see, it needs a little bit of color in there. Just go back in and just fix that. That. So if you feel like your brush needs a little bit of water, just dip it a little bit, not so much, just so you won't get any puddles. I'm gonna blend this, bring this down. Just like that. Now this one is a good paper. This one will not, you don't have to work super crazy hard. And it will give you a very nice blend. That. I really like it. Here we go. Now for the word fall, we're going to use different colors. The terracotta color and the burnt sienna. So pretty. It's just so fall. I miss the colors of autumn, of fall from Arkansas. We don't have it here in Houston. What I have is allergies. I have allergies. Fall season. Who would have thunk? And then I will add the darkest on top. Just like that. And that too. Right? Go with the medium. And then we'll add the darkest as well. Now, when you're finished with this project, you should frame it, or you should gift it to a friend or a loved one. Especially now that the holiday season is here. It's Thanksgiving. Maybe not this one. Maybe you can create like a happy Thanksgiving lettering, but practice or a personalized name. That's even more special. And I think that's one thing that I have really enjoyed when it comes to brush lettering is the joy it brings to others. It's like, can you write my name? And so it's been a joy. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of dark in my palette and a little bit of that medium color, or the apricot. Sorry, the terracotta color. All right. I'm just going to start blending. I'm going to dip in a little bit. Ooh, that's too much. I just kind of know when I have much more water than I should have. And when you have that issue, just have a paper towel on the side. So you kind of dab your brush in there just to get rid of that extra water right away. And then just leave that part first and just let the water dry before you do anything else. Because the more you keep touching it, the more water is going to get in there. So it's going to be much, much harder to control. So I'm going to bring the colors down and then go up. So this part right here, I feel like I'm going to need some color. Like that. I do apologize. Sometimes I get so lost in what I'm doing when I'm doing a class, especially when blending, because I feel like it puts me on a trance. Seeing the water movement and all that, it's kind of like so meditative. Like, oh, I really like this look where we have I have a much more darker shade in here. So I feel like I want to really get that look also for the hay. So I might add more dark shade in there, but maybe later off camera because I really like how intense the word fall is. But I can also just stop here because that means kind of like my focal point is the word fall. So you have a more intense color in here. Just like that. I love it. And just slight bit here. All right. I really, really love the colors also. So I'm so glad. The pencil that I was using, I'm sorry if I missed that question. This is just a regular HB pencil from Faber-Castell, the Goldfaber. Really love that. Now we're going to use the palette and I'm going to create some leaves in here. Some fall leaves. We're not going to overthink the leaves. We've been drawing leaves since we were young kids. So just no matter what shape of leaf you're going to draw or leaves, just add them around the lettering. Just be careful. This is also what's going to frame the lettering, your letters. So I like to call these little tiny doodles like, you know, mini embellishments around your page like that. So just be mindful and be careful because you don't want to put your hand on top of your letter. So what you can do is move your paper around or your canvas around to avoid that accident. Believe me, I have done it many, many times. Don't overthink your leaves. Just doodle. Doodle the shape first and then drop in some colors. And while it's still wet, I'm going to add a little bit of that dark just around this area. Just so you can have, right? So that's called wet on wet techniques when it comes to watercolor, right? And add a little bit here. I felt like I wanted to add green in here, but so another pop of color, it could be like a dark green. That will work too. I always start with the middle part of my leaf. And that is the what I follow when it comes to the direction of the leaf. I'm going to start with one here. So notice here, I'm going to go like that. So I know this is the direction where I want to follow, just like this. Just like that. And then we're just going to add some colors in. Now, of course, that's just the first layer. You want to add an extra layer later to add some fine details to your leaves. And the good thing that I really love about the Goldfaber Aqua markers is that it is dual. So you get two different tips. So you have the brush tip here, and then you have a fine tip on the other. And so this is what you can do to add some details to the leaf. Let's see if some's already dried. Just like that. So you kind of go over that. Just like that. And then another, oh, that's still wet. I can already see. So this is perfect for like little tiny details like this that sometimes is really, really hard to accomplish using the brush pen, because that means you're just going to be more careful. You have to be super careful creating those fine, tiny details. Slightly wet. We're okay though. That's still wet. That's fine. The colors are just going to blend. All right, another part that I really like, and we're almost done. I'm going to use the vintage pink, and we're going to use, again, the fine tip of the Goldfaber Aqua. And what I'm going to do is create a drop shadow, but instead of a solid drop shadow, I have been loving this style lately. We're going to use a fine tip and we're going to add some drop shadow, but a stroke drop shadow to our letters. And remember what I've taught you before when it comes to drop shadow. The key to this is find just one side, whether it's to the left side of your letters or to the right side of your letters. So don't switch and mix and match them, just one. So we're going to add everything to the left side of each letter. Okay, so I'm going to do it here. Start with this one. Now I'm going to have a gap in between. I'm not going to go exactly to where my letter is. So I'm going to leave like a very tiny gap, just like that. See that? And so this one as well. And then my lines are almost like broken lines, but not so much, but it adds some visual instead of just one line. So I kind of make it like broken lines like this, just like that. But again, it's a personal choice, you know, so you don't have to do it. I just feel like it adds character to my letters like that. So, okay, while I'm finishing up, if you have any questions for me at all when it comes to the project that we created today that I can help you with, or with the materials that we used. For the word fall, I'm going to use the color, the terracotta color, the 186, and then do the same thing. When it comes to cleaning up some of the sketches, I'm going to wait until this is completely dry before I do any type of erasing, but mostly I've cleaned up everything. So I don't worry about that so much. Ooh, sometimes we're going to get close like that. And it's okay. You're just going to have to forgive yourself. Give yourself grace. All right, that part too. But yeah, that's what we created. Very pretty, simple, hey, fall lettering. Now you can put this, frame it, you know, display it, be proud of your work. I think that's the most important part, is really be proud of your progress. You know, it might not be perfect right away, but perfect is overrated. Who wants to be perfect? You just keep practicing and keep enjoying and just explore, buy new pens, you know, treat yourself and really embrace the progress as well. But thank you all so much for joining us today. I know lettering is a little tricky, but I'm here to help. We'll practice more. The holiday season is coming, gift season. I love Christmas. So I know Thanksgiving is the coming, but it's like I almost want to skip it and go with Christmas. I know it's bad, so please don't hate me. But thank you again for joining. And in behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, my name is Leibella Ralston. What a great pleasure spending some time with you this afternoon. Until next week, I hope to see you again in our next class. Stay creative and stay happy. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Tina. Bye, everybody.